Hey guys, you're watching Car Topic, and today we're going to be talking about the Mark IV Toyota Supra, a very super car. But the thing is, not a lot of people know about the Supras that came before the Mark IV. So let's go back in time a little bit and see where the Supra really originated. The year is 1979, and Toyota already has a successful sports car, the Celica. But people want something with a little more power. So instead of designing a whole new car, Toyota decides to take the Celica chassis and design the all-new Celica Supra for 1979. The original Celica Supra had 110 horsepower coming from a 2.6-liter inline-six engine and went from 0 to 60 in 11.2 seconds. Very fast for 1979. But this generation of the Supra was short-lived, as in 1982, the new Celica Supra came out. This new Supra had 145 horsepower and came out from a larger 2.8-liter inline-six engine. Although still relying on the Celica's chassis, the Mark II Supra had much more distinctions from the Celica, one of which being the amazing pop-up headlights. The Mark II Supra stuck around for 5 years and was fairly successful, but Toyota knew that they needed to add more power into the Supra. After understanding that the Celica's chassis was holding back the potential of the Supra, 1987 saw the Mark III Supra, the very first of the independently made Supras. The Mark III blew all of the previous generations out of the water, making 200 horsepower coming from a 3-liter inline-six engine. The Mark III Supra was also the first generation to feature a trim that the Supra is known for up until today, the Supra Turbo. The Supra Turbo for the Mark III generation made 230 horsepower. The added power in the Supra Turbo made this car very competitive to cars at much higher price points. But the Mark III Supra wasn't exactly a supercar killer, which is exactly what Toyota wanted. So finally, let's get to the car we've all been waiting for, the Mark IV Toyota Supra. The base trim for the Mark IV Supra made 220 horsepower and came from a 3-liter inline-six engine. But the base trim is not at all what makes the Mark IV Supra so iconic and so well known. It's the Supra Turbo that makes 320 horsepower powered from the very well known and very popular 2JZ engine. The Mark IV Supra Turbo was a true supercar killer, as it beat the Chevrolet Corvette, the Mazda RX-7, the Porsche 968, the Mitsubishi 3000 GT, and the Nissan 300ZX Turbo. And while most of these cars kept on getting refreshed and updated with more power, the Supra still held the #1 spot up until 1997. This is when the M3 and the brand new Chevrolet Corvette finally took the Supra's #1 spot. But the Supra wasn't quite done yet. After being featured in the Fast and Furious films and still placing competitive numbers on the track, the Supra was able to stay around for quite a while. But after keeping the #1 spot for over 5 years and hanging around in the top 3 for quite a few more, it was finally time for the Supra to retire. And that's why we saw the very last Mark IV Supra roll off the line in 2002. They may not have known it back then, but the Supra quickly became a legendary car, and still is today. Because if you want to get your hands on a Mark IV Supra Turbo with the 2JZ engine, you're looking to spend over $90,000 for a very clean example. Toyota took notice of the increasing demand for these old Supras, and that is why we currently have the Mark V Supra today. But the thing is with the Mark V is that it's a very controversial car, as people say that it's essentially a BMW with the amount of its shared parts, and that it's underpowered and doesn't compare to the Mark IV Supra. And while they are correct, it is no longer a supercar killer. It created a new category of low-cost, high-performance sports cars. When it comes to the Mark V Supra, you either hate it or you love it. And I personally love it, especially because the Supra is getting a huge power boost for 2021. So maybe it will be a supercar killer after all. So anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you learned at least a few things about the Mark IV Supra. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And also let me know down in the comments what you think of the video, and if there's any improvements that I should make. I'm very responsive and I'll make it happen. So thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time on Car Topic.